Okay, so this episode was so good. The first part I could have done without. Again, anybody who's watched my reviews know that, when it comes to sex scenes, especially prolonged ones, like, okay, get it over with. Now, if they were to do a Kyle and Jaden potentially breaking some bones of Kyle, not of himself, possibly of himself too, because that's how, that's comedic Klingon sex. Of course, Jaden's also a pacifist, so maybe not. Maybe that wouldn't happen. Maybe Kyle would survive without any broken bones. But anyway, I realized that the point was to show us how later their bond is what saves their asses. However, you saw Caleb having flashes of everything that's happened between the two of them. You've had Jaden basically asking, oh, so I guess you and Tarima are having sex, which Caleb's like, yes, and this is exactly how I wanted you to find out. We could have gotten that, we could have figured that out. I would think even the most aromantic asexual could have figured it out with those clues that they were having sex. We did not need to waste time watching them have sex. Doing this huge sex scene, granted, they had a bit of a falling out because she accidentally went into his head and brought up the trauma of his mother being taken away. Now, fair that he got upset because it is something traumatic, but she did immediately apologize, saying she could not control it. She has warned him multiple times that that's why she has that inhibitor, because she is dangerous. We found out that she's the reason her father is deaf. It's not like he was deaf since childhood or that he just got deaf as he got older, because that's a thing that happens. No, it's because she destroyed his auditory cortex. So that's why he's deaf. Okay, fine. That's when she got the inhibitor. She made it sound like it was her idea, but now they're making it sound like it really wasn't. She went along with it. She liked the idea, but sounds like it wasn't exactly her idea. So, anyway, all that just to show what was going to happen later in the episode. Like I said, they could have cut that down a lot. I don't think they even really needed Caleb to freak out that she was in his head and that she saw that. So, I don't think any of that was necessary, except to show that Caleb is in love with her, but is also freaked out by her. We already got that. You didn't need to do that. So anyway, they are going on their first training mission. And yay, we finally get the War College and Starfleet Academy working together. I was just waiting for when we were going to get a joint episode. Where was the bitch? We had Bobby and we had Kyle, but where was the bitch? I think she's Cardassian. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But anyway, where was she? So basically, this is everybody's going to get a chance to go on this ghost ship, try to bring it back to life, and then I guess if they, depending on how far they get after an hour, they restart everything and bring in a new crew? Or are they supposed to mop up? I was unclear on that. So we meet some new bad guys. The Furies. And the only person who has ever defeated the Furies is Newspraka, which, understandably, Nayla is not thrilled about, which, fair. And, she's like, the enemy of my enemy is still an enemy, but this one is an asshole. And I'm sure whenever he was waxing poetic about how Lanathites are and, that how do they perceive time? Do they? Because they're so long lived. And, he brought up her dead son, which obviously he's doing this to get a rise out of her. But she's staying calm, and I'm not sure if he was actually affecting her because she told Caleb about her son. But at the same time, so it obviously still affects her. But at the same time, I'm not sure if she was thinking about that because that's what Braca wants, or she's just repeating after herself, asshole, 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 because that's what he is. So, and I loved how she finally got up and made him tell them what they needed to know because she literally was pushing back on him. I was just waiting for when she would attack him, and she finally did. But for the most part, she just, let it happen. Let him say his piece, and just thinking asshole or fuck you, or maybe giving him a mental bird. Who knows? But she was, acting unfazed. Even though it looked like in her eyes like it was affecting her. But anyway. So Caleb, Sam, Kyle, Jaden, and Bobby are all going on the away mission. And I'm assuming they sent the two people from the War College plus the instructor who's from the War College because, well, they're from the War College. So, they're most likely, in case anything goes haywire, they're most likely to survive. Unfortunately, no. But, so it turns out that the two people who read the comic book based on the Marayashi and what happened are the two people who ended up dying. Now, the commander, I was sad about because he was really trying to protect the cadets. I mean, he gave himself up. He sacrificed himself to save the cadets. So, which makes it, he didn't come across as an asshole at all. Bobby didn't come across, well, I mean, a little bit, but, but Caleb has that way of bringing that out in people. But we finally learn more about Bobby. You start to like him. And he doesn't survive. It's like, ugh. Just when you start to like Bobby, he ends up dead. But, So they go on to this ship. Now, how the hell Newsbraka knew about this? Because it's found out later that he's working with the Furies. Which, I'm sorry, did he manage to make a deal with the Furies because he knew how to defeat them? Or did he just happen to know how to defeat them and gave them that bone? As long as he got what he wanted, he didn't give a shit what happened to the Furies. Not sure. But the Admiral decides, okay, we have to bring in Newsbraka because he's the only one who's defeated the Furies. Unfortunately, that led them down a very bad path because he wanted what ended up happening, which was the ship that was guarding this space station left because they had sonic capabilities, which, I'm sorry, they could have, if they knew that Terima had such capabilities, they wouldn't have had to have done that. But they didn't know that at the time, I don't think. And I must add, Nyla must have caught on to this back when Terima mentioned her connection to Caleb. It's possible that Kelrick didn't catch on because it's dubious how much he knows about certain cultures. It's possible he caught on as well, just like Jaden did, that they've been having sex. I mean, obviously they're adults and probably are like, okay, well, that's a piece of information. But considering Newsbraka called Caleb her son, I'm gonna say it was more of a, I really don't, that is something I want scrubbed from my brain immediately. So, and, well, Remy didn't get much action in this. He, neither did Occam. I mean, Occam did, along with Terima, explain her abilities and why she's so damn dangerous. But Remy, basically all he did was read the encrypted message, which turns out to be, basically saying suckers. The encrypted message was for them. They took the bait, bon appetit, hoping that they would, have an all-you-can-eat buffet. So yeah, they made the wrong call in the worst way. So a bunch of people on the space station were killed. Bobby was killed. Sam is gonna be okay, which, by the way, how did she get injured? I mean, we saw during their laser tag episode that she could become incorporeal whenever she wants. So if you think about it, she literally can't get injured. She did that. She was able to connect with the computer, and yet she got injured somehow. I realize this is the phi in sci-fi, but still. It's going to be one of those that Sam is incorporeal when she wants to be, and when we want her to get hurt, she can't, just inexplicably can't. Or she got so scared that it never dawned on her to do it. That's a possibility too. But anyway, so Bobby gets killed saving Caleb. Terima was the conduit to get this this drive online. I'm blanking on what it's called. I know it starts with an S. That killed the Mariachi crew simply because suddenly everything went to shit when they turned this thing on. And I can't remember what the drive is called, but didn't Discovery try that? So, and this was back when they were still in the past, I thought. So, I'm confused. Was it just experimental and they just didn't do it right and Discovery did? Or am I misremembering and they weren't able to get it to work either? Because I thought that was one of the reasons why they had to put them in the future, because when the original series aired, they just had warp drive. So I thought that theirs worked. So I'm very confused. Anyway, so and of course it inexplicably doesn't go haywire when Caleb connects it, because I guess Caleb is this generation's Scotty. There's no engineering problem he can't solve and solve correctly. But so to save everyone else, Terima removes her thingy. I'm blanking on the word. Removes it. It looks like a pen. Removes it so she can lose control. So she screams, which, why didn't that affect any of the cadets? I mean, I get that it would affect the Furies and all of their heads literally exploded, but I mean, the cadets should have at least covered their ears. I mean, maybe not Sam because, well, she's Sam. But everyone else should be somewhat affected. I mean, I don't know about Klingon hearing, so maybe not him, but none of the cadets were affected, just the Furies. And, or maybe they were too busy, fighting for their lives that they didn't even pay attention. But anyway. So they're finally able to get them back to the ship, including Bobby, who unfortunately they did confirm was dead. I was really, really hoping that Jaden would do some frontier medicine shit and save him. Basically be the futuristic super doc. Unfortunately, that did not happen. And I get it. This is war, so, deaths happen. This isn't something that Star Trek's never done before. And it's not like Bobby was a main character. However, when you start to like the guy, which is probably why we got very little from Kyle, because he was the one I was worried about. He got injured early on, and Jaden was saying how he wished he could help him. He got him to laugh by asking if he was half Klingon because of the scars. So they have a very cute relationship. So I was really worried about Kyle, not Bobby. I was so mad about Bobby. I mean, he and Caleb even seem to have made up. Caleb's like, oh yeah, I read the comic when I was bored. And, basically making a friend. And then they kill him off because Bobby sacrificed himself to save Caleb the same way the commander sacrificed himself to save all the other cadets. So, yeah, like I said, really sucked. I get it that they have to kill off someone, which is why I think that even though Terima seems comatose right now, and both Caleb and Occam are, of course, worried about her, because, duh, one's boyfriend, one's brother, so, of course. But because she is a main cast member, I'm going to say she's going to recover just fine. Why she thought Caleb would be mad at her for what she did is puzzling. Is it because she's a girl and Caleb thinks girls aren't supposed to save the day? In which case, fuck Caleb. I mean, seriously, why would she think that he would be mad at her and not want to date her anymore? I mean, maybe she thought that he would be scared at what she did, that she was able to lose control so much. But that's what the inhibitor is for, which I assume when she comes back into consciousness is going to be implanted back in her. Or maybe they're going to be like, you know what? She handled it really well. So it's possible she doesn't need this anymore. I mean, that's a possibility too. Let's see, what else is there I want to mention about this episode? I'm kind of upset that we didn't see Jet because, I mean, granted, she would probably be in engineering, so there's no need for her to make an appearance. But even in the very beginning, no Jet. She was already at the academy. I did like that Remy is willing to give Genesis credit. So they're showing that he's growing as a person. He's not, that he is willing to accept that other people can do great things, that it doesn't just have to be about him. But he did say she did most of it, not that she did all of it. So Genesis still gave him the side eye, like, most of it? So maybe not completely willing to get, he feels the need to get credit for something, even if he does nothing. I did like the scenes with Braca and Nyla because, it's Paul Giamatti and Holly Hunter, both people who've been around acting for a bit. I'm still waiting for an episode where jazz or blues becomes a thing, and not just in the Cisco sense, because the actor who plays Kelrick, that's his thing, jazz and blues. So I'm waiting for when, I mean, not maybe voluntarily, but, because his musical instrument of choice last episode was a flute, but maybe somehow forced to do something that requires jazz or blues or something. Let's see. When Braca first got on the ship and was alone with Nyla, it seemed like he was flirting with her. And then he got all nasty. And I'm like, wait, is this guy an incel? I mean, seriously. He's flirting with her, not getting the response he wants, and so then he becomes an asshole again. And to me, that screams incel. They're nice to women. I'm thinking that they'll get something out of it, and then when they don't, they become nasty. So either it's more of a, I want the Federation to give me what I want, so I'm going to try to sweet talk them. Oh, I'm not getting what I want, I'm going to be nasty. But I love how she literally pushed back on him. So it turns out his full name is Nucifer, which I was reading a review and they thought it was Nucifer, like Christopher. I think it sounded more like Nucifer as in Lucifer. And considering what he's been doing and how the hell did he even know about Nyla's kid and try to blame her for his death. I mean, he died because of the burn. There was literally nothing she could have done. I failed to see, you know, I mean, he obviously was trying to needle her and trying to get a reaction out of her. But at the same time, what the hell? But, so yeah, Lucifer as in Lucifer works perfectly. It also, I couldn't help but my mind went to Spaceballs and the character of Barf. For those who are familiar, at the last scene of the movie, when Lone Star and Princess Vespa were getting married, he was the best man, and the priest asked him for his full name, which was Bartholomew. So I was chuckling to myself about that as well. This idea that, I mean, there is no way that wasn't in the back of the writers' heads when they gave Noose a full name and named him Lucifer. There is no way that they were not thinking back to Bartholomew. Let's see if there's anything else I want to mention about this episode. It's nice to see that the two chancellors work well together. It's great that they've made up and they work well together, that there's no drama there, because there was plenty of drama with Braca and, of course, the Furies. We didn't need any made-up drama. So, I believe that is all I have for this episode. But, yeah, like I said, it must be really, really weird that by Terima telling everybody about her being connected to Caleb and being able to get into his head, that basically she's telling everybody that, that they've been having sex. I mean, what a way to, out yourself like that. Oh, one more thing. Cadet Pickford, that poor girl. In that first episode, she's screaming red alert, because she is freaking out. And Caleb basically calmed her down by telling her she's doing great. She needed him this episode because she saw the commander floating out of the airlock, and she's freaking out that they killed him. I am wondering how long she is for Starfleet Academy. I really am. Because this is not something that this is a one-off thing and it'll never happen again. I realize that Starfleet Academy is supposed to be a bunch of explorers, but at the same time, that's why they work with the War College, because you never know when the shit hits the fan. So I really wonder how long we're going to see Cadet Pickford. If she's going to tough it out, or if she's going to say, yeah, I'm done. I can't handle this. That's always a possibility too. Let's see. So yeah, I believe with that, I've covered everything I wanted to this episode, and I will see you guys in the next video.